I could ramble for a while about that. The background downloader being able to download a game and play the game while it's downloading. With
Now that's a nice
I like
idea.
that idea. I would
Very
I would
much.
rarely use it, I'm positive, but I do like the idea. I can definitely see there are plenty of people who would like it, but there is a little
Yeah.
problemo that I have with this idea, and that is I am a big person about owning physical properties because
Same here.
Sony and Microsoft and even Nintendo are under the impression that they are leasing their consoles out to me, which is incorrect. I purchase your console. I am allowed to do with it whatever I deem necessary. So I don't. So them already giving me a non-physical disc, and it's already almost always on the internet. If I'm doing whatever they think, not even pirating, if I'm just doing something that they don't think or approve of, or found a little hacker playing around with something, maybe by accident, maybe purposefully, but I paid for this game, for all I know, because I didn't read the fine print, because they didn't show up this 50 yards of text about using their service yet. For all I know, they could probably take that game away from me. I A potential thing, and I guess this is really making me sound very paranoid, but that's why I like physical discs, physical properties. I go out, get my disc, I can play it whenever I want to. This whole thing about you playing the game as you download it was about their big thing that they were talking about was immediacy. Oh, you play the game now, get the game now, play the game now. But that's why I go to the store and buy the disc so I can play it now. Pop it in, play. I'm good. It's a constant.
Yeah, I still have a big problem with having to download so much because I know that the PS4 will have more
Mm-hmm.
room, but I really think I'll have the same problem that I have now, and that's not enough
Mm-hmm.
room without having to go and buy another, memory chip just to add on so many games that I
Right.
have.
Oh,
I don't have to be downloading so often and so much. I miss just being able to put in the disc and the disc runs it.
good old days. It would be nice if you could transfer over your PSN games to your PS4, but from what I heard, you can't even do that. Lovely.
Not lovely.
Again, that's why I don't like the non-physical discs. If it was, real, there would be a possibility for me to play it in the PS4, but they've just
Mhm.
truncated all of that altogether. Um, plus,
But still, being able to, instead of having to wait forever for your download to stop, then or be
yeah,
done,
that is good.
it'll be
That is
nice.
good. I wholeheartedly agree with that. That is a very good idea, and it sounds very neat. I I support it. That's not necessarily a system seller to me. It's a nice feature for the console, but I'm used to having to wait for the games to load already. So you know, this being the first one to do that isn't necessarily inspiring me to grab this one first.
Yeah, it's true.
Plus, another thing, again, my tinfoil hat that will not come off apparently. What's the if I cannot play my PSN games on my PS3 on my PS4? What if the PS4? What hap- Will there, We'll just say flat out that you and I both know that the Sony isn't going to isn't this PS the PSN isn't going to support the PS3 the entire life cycle of the PS4. Let's say you delete one of your games to make for your on your PS3 to make room for something, and later on you want to play that game again. Are you going to be able to play it again, even though you downloaded it?
I would like to hope so, but I love Sony, but they are a company, and companies don't always support our needs
Yeah, just
or fairness.
just just my feelings on why I don't like virtual. I again like the idea, but
Mm.
that that gives me room for pause and makes me feel uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. But
I don't know. I'm okay with it. I just wish, even if they're not backwards compatible, I'd like to still have what I bought from the PSN network to be on the PS4 because they're connected. They both have that network, and I think I should still be able to download what I've already bought.
I agree. We pay for it. I don't think it's asking too much for us to be able to play it. And the thing about Gaikai, now that I sit and think about it, they never once said that was also a part of the PSN. And
That's true, I guess.
technically speaking, if it is a third party, that could also mean that if they do have all the games from the PS1 and whatnot that you may have purchased from the PSN, but you cannot play because, they won't be transferred from PS3 to PS4, you might have to buy them again from Gaikai to stream them. Which is an ominous thought that they never addressed again.
Yeah, I guess we'll get more details later, but for now it's like, I want them to give me more to make me trust them.
Yes. And that's the biggest thing that I've been reading about. Wait till E3. You don't expect Sony to blow their entire wad. Right now it's just a press conference. Wait till E3. But I don't think they wouldn't have blown their wad if they explained some of this stuff that you and I are talking about. I think they would have gotten me interested. Done their job. You're supposed to explain stuff, make me feel confident, make me interested by explaining it. This is stuff, again, you could have just done in a press release, explained nothing on, and it would have been completely okay because you were just talking about the things you would like to do with it. But to come out and say that to the public, you leave us confused and frankly in an odd position and situation trying to figure out what you're doing, where is all this going. I think E3 is not the time to be explaining a lot of this stuff unless they really don't have anything definite out, which if it's going to release this year and you don't have anything definite about this console, that's a bit of an issue. Just saying.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of Gaikai though. Playing all the old games from
Yeah.
PS1 on the PS4, that's nice. It's kind of like Nintendo eShop. We can play. Granted, it's not open for the Wii U yet. They're working on opening it for the summer. Well, as of now, as of this recording, it's not open yet. But Nintendo's going to open the Nintendo shop. Will bring the games from the old consoles to the Wii U, which Nintendo pretty much has been doing since the Wii. Which is I like. I appreciate being able to play my old games and such, and having the chance to play them again. I like that. I like that they're doing that.
Or grab ones that you missed.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a great thing for Gaikai for PS3. Apparently, you will be able to try them. I don't know for how long. He just said you could try them and buy what you like. I don't quite.
No. You only get what you love.
My mistake. You only get what you love. So that's good. Not. I'm kind of scratching my head about how this is all going to work. I mean, I don't know. Again, am I going to have to repurchase my PS3 games on Gaikai?
I really hope not. And if that's the way it's gonna work, then forget it. I'll just have to keep my PS3 around.
Yeah.
Which is okay. I still love the PS3, but it's still feels like we're being put down.
People. Well, again, we're not saying. People like to say this is a great move for Sony because it gets rid of piracy. Get rid of backwards compatibility. That hurts GameStop, which hurts piracy, which is good for the industry. I don't too much agree with that. Piracy is naturally bad for the industry. I'm not saying that it isn't. But the backwards compatibility thing, what made the PS2 sell was, even though it didn't have a strong launch, because I don't even remember what the hell came out originally with the PS2. What made it sell, other than the DVD drive, was you had games to play because you still had your PS1 games. You could watch DVDs and you could enjoy your good PS1 games until a good PS2 game came out that you wanted to play. Then that started taking over the market. You know, it instills trust. It is, you know, you're not divorcing your consoles like you had to with each iteration of Nintendo. When Super Nintendo came out, you had to put aside your Nintendo. When N64 came out, you had to put it over your Super Nintendo. GameCube came out, buy N64. You can only do that with the Wii. When that came out, you could still play your GameCube games, and now you can still play the Wii games with the Wii U. It matters less to me about the GameCube games being dropped and the Wii U games being kept, because after all this time, I've kind of stopped playing my GameCube games, and I've only been playing more Wii games. So, you know, at least keeping that last generation, I think that's a good sign, a sign of good faith from the company. We may not have strong launch lineups, but while we do come out with that, why don't you pick up some of those Wii games you've been meaning to play? Like, I picked up that Kirby 25th anniversary game, and I got to get the new Kirby Dream Land, Xenoblade Saga, and you know, I got to get. There are games that I have to play from the Wii that I didn't get a chance to play that I can play on my Wii U. Again, it's instilling good faith with me. I appreciate that. Sony saying, you know, I don't want people copying our games, so you can't play it at all. That's the biggest middle finger I've seen in a while. Because even the PS3, the early ones, allowed you to play your PS2 games. And to take that completely away from you says that they care more about selling their
money.
Yeah, they care more about getting money from you than the customer themselves. They are a company, but I don't give, you know, a company's job is to make money, but well, that's what they say. They say a company's job is to make money, but I personally think a company's job is to earn money. My parents go out and work for a living to make money to buy nice things. My brother goes out to work to make money to buy nice things. When I get a job, I'm going to go out and work to make nice things. Nobody is giving us a dime. I don't see why, you know, my job is to go to school and do all this extra stuff. I would need money to, if you want to get my money from me that is really difficult for me to come by, I think you should earn it. It shouldn't be just given to you just because it hurts the industry for piracy and what have you. But yeah, piracy hurts music industry. You don't see people getting rid of MP3 players because pirates, you can download the music. You don't see them going to a new format that divorces completely the old style of doing music. MP3 players kind of did that, but you can still have CD players in your car. So you can still, you know, buy CDs and play them. To completely get rid of it is just the biggest middle finger you can give your customers, and I don't appreciate that. If Sony really wants to dance that dance, I am not stepping. That's how I feel about it.
It really sounds like a bad excuse to just get more money. It really does. You know, they can blame piracy all they want, but in the end, they're just going to use it as an excuse to go, oh, hey, you have to buy your games again.
Yes. You know, here's how I feel about piracy. Piracy weeds out the good games from the bad. If your game isn't worth anything, nobody was going to buy it anyway. And now a pirate can tell everyone why they shouldn't buy it. If it's a good game, pirate shows everyone how good the game is, and an honest person goes out and buy it. That's what piracy does. It's advertising is the riskiest of advertising, but if you have something worth buying, like Michael Jackson said, if it's any good, they'll buy it. And I'm not going to go against the king of pop. He knew what he was talking about. When people were pirating his music, he was like, okay, fine, whatever. If they like it, they'll buy it. And he was right. And I agree with that. Make something worth buying. Maybe if we didn't have the same permutation of, you know, games coming out the last generation, people wouldn't have piracy wouldn't have gone up as high as it did.
I think that's why they're doing this spectating and social networks, though, so that they'll use their own controlled network so people can advertise their games rather than them taking it to YouTube and stuff.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It does. It's just still weird. Control freaks.
Far less paranoid than me, but yes, it makes a lot of sense.